live.
Not on YouTube though.
SS, man, that was my first CCM ever.
Really? The first person that showed me an SS-25 was Blake Long from Ambush.
What's his middle last name?
Dude, I cannot pronounce that. Kella, he's gonna get mad if I mispronounce it.
I need to read it.
I'm horrible with names as it is.
No, I just embarrassed everybody for being near that.
Okay, so we
Here,
are... No, no.
Here, have a CCM.
Thanks. Okay, so we're good, Paul?
Normally I'm the one with the computer in front of me.
Not today. Do you feel weird without your technology?
No.
Well, you have
It's
your
actually
computer,
nice.
right?
Yeah.
It's over there?
Yeah, it's over
Did
there.
you write yourself a script of what you're going to say?
No, that's the copy-paste of the Grey Ghost description from eBay.
Cool.
And then those are notes that I wanted to remember about, like the gunfighter frame, which was just coming out, and PBSL.
Oh, so
You're
those are
far
general
more
basic
prepared than we are.
notes. Yeah. Well, no, because I only heard about the gunfighter frame from you guys.
Oh.
Really?
PBDnA, your main source of paintball news.
There you go.
I'm trying to think where you should
hey,
have heard it. It
Paul,
was on
my,
PB Nation and Facebook. And
I'm not a big user on PB Nation.
What up?
did you ever used to be?
Not
my
really.
stream is just a black image.
I like M. Carter Brown a lot because people are more honest.
My Facebook stream.
MCD is awesome. Yeah, I'm not getting anything on
Okay,
Facebook.
no, we're good. All right, we're going live
Just
now.
click go live right now.
Yeah.
I think
All right, we're live on Facebook now.
There we go.
Cool.
Share it up, Paul. Dan.
You got a new interface with Facebook.
We do?
Yeah,
they
Oh.
updated it.
they updated it.
But see, once again, I have a black screen here. I don't know
Guys,
what's up with that. Or is it working on
say
yours on
hi,
Facebook?
Salar.
What's up?
I am playing Saturday. You playing Saturday?
I play every weekend.
Are you playing at Combat?
Pumpmania?
Pump Mania.
Oh, I will be there. Is it
Cool.
Pump Mania or Pumpmania?
Pump Mania.
For sure.
Yeah, so Salar and I are going to be there. Dan is probably not going to be
I don't think I'm going to be there.
because he's a giant loser. And Paul's going
That's
to be
okay.
in...
I would say I'm a minuscule loser, but...
I know a lot of people. I think only
Bastin?
40 people are showing up. It's done.
Paul just really wants
Oh.
that clam chowder.
I'm gonna get that clown
Chowder.
It did seem like Dennis had a pretty good schedule for it, though, or a lot
Yeah.
of fun activities.
Yeah, and there's a
Which is
super
pretty cool.
sweet CCM J2, a 2017 that's going to be raffled off. So
Really?
that's going
Oh.
to be pretty cool.
And a carnivore also, or was that last year?
Not a carnivore, but I think there's one more pump gun and a couple other pieces of gear, like masks. Definitely worth attending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to toss in a couple of... well, one, maybe two Jeff boxes for the raffle also.
No way.
Si, senor. And
Looks like
maybe
your,
something else.
What is up with your D10 is not
What's
functioning.
up with it, man?
Did I put it in wrong?
Doesn't look like it moves when your bolt goes back. Maybe it's not supposed to move because your bolt has this slot on it.
So your screen
it?
is blocking what you're
It's a-
showing,
it's a
Dan. What are you
very
looking
old
at?
one.
Tell the people.
So I'm looking at an S5, an S5 basic. Oh, it doesn't have the slot. So then your D10 is definitely in wrong. Or it might just be too long.
That's why you've chopped your last 700 balls.
I've never chopped with that gun, but thank you for telling me.
I guess
because
you're fine.
I play with it. No, I mean, I got a bunch of extra wire detents. Maybe this one bent for some reason when I was trying to take it out, because
Yeah.
I do disassemble that gun often. So
How similar is that wire detent to like an automag wire detent, twist lock detent?
Well, if you cut your twist lock, if you cut the back of the twist lock detent, maybe it would work. I'm not sure. So it looks like you're going in at like a weird angle.
yeah, it's bent.
and-
It's bent. It's
yeah.
clearly bent. It's not going in. Oh no, but I feel it. Put your finger on it. When you
Well, yeah,
do it.
you're pushing it now. But
Oh, for sure. That's a good point.
Cool. So we
Check it
are
out.
live. What are we talking about this week?
Whoa, Sean is like blowing us up. He says, "What up, guys? Who's playing Saturday?" And he says, "Hi, Salar. See you guys there. Bring any Jeff boxes. J2 CK Laser."
This is on YouTube.
Yes, on YouTube.
Okay,
Sean
so
is
what they're
awesome.
talking about for anybody not in SoCal is we're playing Pump Mania this Saturday. That is at Combat Paintball Park, ran by the PBSL guys. And that's a day of pure pump, and the people who have played PBSL are limited to stick feeds or 10-round fed loaders like a Jeff box only. And kids 13 and under and new players can use whatever hoppers they want. So it's pretty cool. They have some cool raffles, and what I'm most excited about is the 2v2. Did you hear about the 2v2?
No, I did not.
What was the name?
That's my favorite format, but my 2v2 partner won't make it.
It's not only 2v2, but this is the format that we had spoken about playing at the 10K, but it didn't happen because the 10K went too long. So basically 2v2, everybody has stick feeds only, but isn't allowed to bring any paint on the field. You get 1 minute to run around the field looking for paint, and then all of a sudden, game's on, and then every 2 minutes, I believe, they shrink the field on you. So
for sure,
it's gonna be freaking chaotic.
Except
There's
for
10 teams of 2.
On the 10-man, it was supposed to be not paintballs, but you were building a gun, right? It was assembling an actual marker.
That's what I thought.
No
I wasn't
way.
totally sure.
That would be like hardcore mode. I think we need a warm-up where the gun is built first.
And I thought that was going to be 2 players from each team to make 2 big, like, 10v10 teams or 20v20. This one, I believe, is going to be just 2v2, and then the top 3 teams get medals. So
Nice.
that's going to be done at lunch. So
Hey, Paul.
Dennis always does a
our
good job.
video output is too low.
yeah, but it's really sad that Dennis is going to be leaving at some point.
It says, for YouTube, it says stream health red. Video output too low.
These are internet's not doing well, but it looks good on my end.
Oh.
Okay.
It might have just been my.
Give it 1 sec, guys, while we figure out.
How does the stream look for you guys?
Well, on mine it's glitched
Is it
out.
like lagging?
How's yours doing, Benji?
Mine is
RIP'd?
also super.
So if you guys
slow.
can hear us,
Is
tell
it
us,
really?
Yeah, Sean
Yeah,
says
I'm
live.
gonna-
Salar is the longest.
I'm gonna jump off the internet and go on my 4G.
Okay.
You wanna do the same, Dan?
He had good upload speed on the speed
Yeah, I
test
tested
though.
it, and it was...
Goes up and down. So today we're filming at my place because Dan's place is out of commission. So this isn't where we normally stream, so we need to figure out the nuances of filming at my place.
Is this
but
cable? Cable internet?
Wi-Fi?
It's super fast. I mean, is it cable or DSL or UVerse?
DSL.
Oh, okay. Well, it's very fast.
I mean, our upload speed is excellent.
That's better than my
Yeah.
internet. It's twice as good. So.
Well, we might be better now because I jumped off.
I mean,
Yeah,
maybe-
sometimes some routers are not good with multiple devices, you know?
Yeah,
It's
maybe
good
I'll
with
turn
one.
mine off too, because I need to just have my head buried in the screen.
Cool. So bear with us, guys. Give us a couple minutes.
Paul, if you have the YouTube open, just look at it and see if it
Because your internet speed is good.
changes.
Looks good, bro.
All right, so
How much do you have on your head, Bocci?
what's up?
How much do you have on your head?
How much?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Because you have a really old Navro and that
plugged in.
head wrap.
No, it should be. All right. If I don't 4G and tether too often, so I'm just remembering how to do it.
For sure.
Oh, you're trying to tether your...
Yeah. Why don't you start us off down? While
That's
I
actually
figure
the
this out.
super fast way.
Okay, so today we are streaming from Benchies, as you just explained, and we don't really have a set outline. We figured that we just have Salar over, and he would
wing
just
it?
kind of, he'd just give us topics, and we would just go off about those topics. So what's our first topic today?
First topic.
Put him on the spot.
Actually, I guess it's going to be our second topic, because we were just talking about Pump Mania, so what's our second topic?
Okay, second topic.
I know you wrote down like all these questions that you wanted to discuss or topics that you wanted to discuss. So I know one thing you were mentioning earlier is this is your first jersey that you actually had for, is it actually labeled with your name on the back or for your team that you played on, or it's just the one that you got when you started playing, or what's the deal with it? It's a pretty cool Diablo jersey.
It is cool. I don't remember exactly when I got it, but it's got some, some wear and tear.
Some little
So I
snag.
think I got in the dirt a few times, but I think it's from 2003.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was, from what store, but I think it was from Excess Sports in the Valley off Tampa.
Oh.
I think they were open only for 2 years, from like
I remember that
2001
place.
or
That
something.
one,
Yeah.
they had a good big store. decent prices from what I remember, but I just remember driving a while to go there. I would go to there and then INI and Reseda, because we didn't have Hollywood Paintball.
I lived in the valley, so that was like the closest store to me.
INI on Reseda or Skirmish?
Skirmish.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
INI was Sepulveda.
It's lagging bad.
It's lagging bad?
Yeah.
R.I.P.?
I never went to INI.
Should we tether on mine?
I went to INI when I was super young, maybe my first couple years. Paul,
sure.
how about now? How is it?
Lagging pretty bad.
You can use my.
The thing that sucks is...
Sorry, guys.
It's okay, Benji. Don't worry about it.
It's not your. It's not your internet, because the internet is very good.
There's something about the internet though, because I used to play a couple games, and then
Could be your router.
Who said that?
Josh said it's lagging, and another.
my buddy next door gets like, I don't know, 120 download speeds and like 50
Is it the
uploads.
same router?
Yeah.
We're going with
'Cause,
20...
you know, the router and the firmware of the router is very important. Because when you speed test it, it's like 50,
Super fast.
50 down.
We're consistent at 200 kilobytes upload a second right now, so...
We'll just be very fuzzy.
No, I mean, that's... I said a megabyte to 2 megabytes earlier. I meant 100 to 200 kilobytes. So that was...
Well, it seems better now.
Is it?
It's fine for me. Yeah, I jumped off and I'm on my hotspot now. So
Is anyone watching right now?
there are people. Is anybody watching right now?
Yeah, honestly.
Cheer if you're watching.
Let us know if the quality's okay. Yeah, I wish I had gone to INI. Justin Miller at Ambush.
One sec. We're stuck on No, we're good on YouTube totally.
Good.
Yeah, people are saying good now. Do you want a monitor on here, or do you want the other computer to monitor?
That's fine.
He was telling me INI was the spot to get
Okay, better now.
Renegade
But you
stuff.
could open Facebook on
Like
it. Should be
how long ago?
So,
Early 2000s.
Go right there.
You know, back then I Dan,
like
can you grab
60
the
bucks.
bottle opener? You know, I didn't know about Renegades back then.
Me neither. Dude,
you were a renegade back then.
I did know about Renegades only in the capacity that I knew I kept bouncing this guy Gilly, and I was like, I keep shooting him like from 10 feet away, and I keep bouncing him, and then he shoots me immediately. That was early 2000s.
Wow.
And I was
Gilly, I always forget his last name, Martinez?
Martinez. Yeah, I've been playing
You've been playing with him for that long. Really?
Since I was a pup. A wee pup. I was like maybe 5'7" or 5'8" and 210 pounds when I met him.
Wow.
Like a Catcher from the Sandlot, the Great Hambino, except I was kosher, so it was like the Great Matzo Ball or something.
Were you playing Pump back then?
I started in like 2003. I got an SS25, which
No way.
you brought one of those.
For sure.
And then I went up to an 05 Black Magic once we hit 2005, which did not shoot nearly as well as the SS25. And all my buddies were getting CCMs, like one of them got that Creamsicle S5,
Okay.
which is super nice.
I haven't
But
seen
yeah,
any
That
of
they
those in a
we
while.
started
to sell as a mech. I think they sold it as a mech.
Yeah, with the double frame.
With a hinge.
Yeah.
He definitely had it as a pump always, so he bought it secondhand from someone.
Oh. for sure.
But we were playing the old school challenge. You remember OSC? Ever hear of it?
No, that was a new back in the day. Like I did start in 2003, but I was just
Stayed noob status. For a
No,
while.
I was playing. I was just playing at one field, like Tierra Hada Paintball USA, and then I met like Oscar Perez and his son Alex.
Okay.
And around that time, they were like trying to gather a crew. They wanted to open up a store, so they were super cool. They would sometimes like pick me up on the weekends. They were the people that introduced me to like SC Village, Fields of Fire,
Does Oscar
Jungle.
still play?
Yeah, Oscar plays at Ambush all the time. He shows up with his son.
Have I met him?
I don't know, but he's a regular at Ambush for sure. And they play like a bunch of divisional games semi, but I don't know the names of the events and stuff.
Yeah,
but
right, like UPL. And
I'm sure UPL, WCPL, I think.
oh.
Yeah, yeah. The
What's
name of their
his-
team is Straight Shooters.
Oh.
Oh, I know
Yeah.
straight shooters.
Yeah, so those guys, they really like kept me into paintball when I didn't have anyone
When you were
to
a
take.
scrub.
Yeah, when I was a scrub.
When you
I
were
mean,
a
I've been
scrub.
I still am a scrub, but
Yeah.
they kind of showed me the way.
I mean, basically, you were.
You're not a scrub. You
Scrub.
won. Was it first place in 10K?
Did that shirt just break?
Yeah, I had very little to do with it. Michael Parker and
Yeah.
no, did not. I hope it didn't.
You had more to do with it than I did. My tank exploding.
That was so much fun. You know, I wasn't even going to participate in 10K. When Dennis announced it, I was injured and I was like, oh man, I can't play. But luckily at the last minute I got a spot and it was so much fun. Like, I can't wait for the next 10K.
It was.
Yeah,
pretty
it's gonna
fun,
be freaking
for
awesome.
sure.
I was remembering the early OSC, which was the first pump tournament that I ever played, and it was limited rounds. It started with, at least when I started playing, it was 40 round limit, and then it went up to 70 a couple years later. And that was really fun. That's where I first met the Yuma Rattlers.
I remember you were telling Mark.
Where
I think,
was that?
You were playing against
They
him.
played them all over. We had one tournament at Conquest. We would travel hours to fields that no longer exist to go play.
For sure.
I know we played one at, I think it was Jungle Island. I don't think we podiumed out of like 20 events. Me and my noob pump team.
Man, you guys were definitely scrubs.
Oh man, we were scrubs. Like,
But you were playing pump.
yeah, we were
Yeah.
decent semi players, but new pump players. And I remember at one point, I looked at the gun and I was like, well, why does it need a detent? Because you pump the ball past the detent. So I just took my detent out.
You were
and-
double feeding all day.
Well, not only was I double feeding, I didn't even learn about like matching the ball to the bore. So I would pump it and it would just like 20 would roll out
That's
at
fine.
once. And I'm just like, oh.
How old
So
were you?
you were
How
basically
old were
semi
you?
with your pump.
I was like maybe 15. And
That's
I
cool.
remember I didn't even know what was wrong until the end of the day.
But still,
when
that's the
someone's
right
like,
way.
where's your detent? Because I had like,
Oh,
I
man.
threw my gun on the ground. I was like, someone else play for me. End of the day, someone's like, where's your detent? Well, you don't need it. It's a pump. And he's like, you're an idiot.
Owned.
We saw someone actually playing without a detent.
Yeah,
The S5 blank.
Who was that?
I forgot his name. I'm horrible with names. But it was a very cool kind of employee.
Yeah.
S5, no detent.
It was.
Unique
Greg?
Anno.
Was it Greg?
Forget his name. But it was really unique because it had a cut on the top tube that was.
What's up?
Still a little laggy.
Still a little laggy, so you guys have to put up with it.
Sorry.
Sorry from all of us. But really, not
Not
Salar's
me.
fault. Mostly all Paul's fault. We'll blame Paint Paul. Paint Paul, you need to prescribe a prescription to fix this paint ball.
How many
I'm
devices?
like, we had a really
Are
good
connected to the-
connection last time.
We have only
so-
one device connected. That computer. right
Only
there.
one device is connected to the router?
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Then I'm out of answer.
Yeah.
Well, it goes good for like.
Hey, look at
decent
click
amount of
on
time,
activity monitor
and
and,
then
see
freezes
what
a little
our connection speed is right now.
While he's doing that, Russ just sent me a news article about something that happened. I think it's today, and it made me laugh out loud as to how stupid these guys are.
Yeah.
Men involved in paintball shootout tell their story to Channel 9. So a bunch of people were calling police about guys shooting at each other, and there's pictures here of it looks like a Crown Vic and a Camaro, and they're completely covered in paintball hits. And apparently they had a paintball battle car to car driving in traffic, and they were like, we're not doing anything violent, we're not shooting at random people, hurting people, we're doing it amongst our groups, people who know about it. The two friends said they wanted to start a movement using the childhood game tag but with paintball guns. They claim it's a way to tackle crime by giving people a way to hash things out without real guns.
No.
Claiming their intention was to combat violence in the street by encouraging people to drop their real guns and pick up paintball guns instead. How stupid can you be?
You know,
They're just like,
I play a lot of walk-on paintball, and I hear that a lot, like in the parking lot, that like, oh, we should go do this in the neighborhood. And I don't say anything to them, but I don't understand like where that comes from to make you think that it's like okay to shoot your paintball gun or paintball marker like anywhere other than like a field or your own private backyard.
Question. Where, like, what would make someone think that's okay?
Well,
It's
this
just
is
like
beyond
lack of
shooting a
common
street
sense.
sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is taking it to the next level. Like, two people just battling in cars.
Yeah,
Like,
and
maybe
it's
in
like,
the 80s
sure,
with
some-
Flatmasters, but like,
And sure, some kids are gonna be like, "Oh, well, that's kind of cool what they're doing, right?" And then the other 90% of people who aren't kids who know what paintball guns are, you know what they're thinking? Oh God! Oh! Oh! And running away because someone's shooting in freaking public.
Yeah,
one
that's
of
true.
Rosette's friends
Jesus.
was actually
That-
she was driving around and somebody shot something at her, and I guess it was lodged in her windshield. So like maybe it was a reball or something.
BB gun?
No, I don't think it was a BB gun because I never actually found out what it was, but it was described as being like a large circular object, which would make me think like probably like one of the,
UFO?
yeah, UFO. I mean, it's a UFO when it's in the air, right? But once it's wedged in the windshield, then it's not. But yeah, I don't know. I was anyway. She thought that somebody was actually shooting at her, and she thought that it was a bullet stuck in her windshield.
Hey, let me interrupt you. Why don't you try jumping on my hotspot and I'll go on the internet, see if that'll do it.
That's gonna kill our.
Their hotspot's good.
Well, my hotspot's on right now. You can just switch Wi-Fi.
If he changes Wi-Fi, it kills the stream, so we can just share it again. That's fine.
You want to try it?
Sure.
What's your kilobytes a second upload right now? And let me look at
I don't know.
paintballs right now to see. Oh, both my knees are like giving out.
I actually have no experience with live streaming at home. You can do it from cell pretty easily within the app, but I think
But normally that's pretty low quality when you're
yeah,
shooting through Facebook,
exactly. The
so-
bit rate is much higher on this because it's not just resolution, it's also bit rate.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a couple people here saying they played without detents for years. Jake says he runs his S6.5 without it. And Gene says play with no detents for years. Yeah, but you guys were probably matching your barrel.
Crazy.
I didn't know
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
about that. I was
That's
just like,
true.
Okay, you remember?
You have to be
dropouts and
conscious.
chopping is normal.
You have to be conscious of the fact that you don't have a D10.
Yeah. Dan, my upload
That's
is
what's happening.
8, 9.
Okay, we're gonna.
It looks fine here.
That's solid. That's enough.
Yeah, but look at our CPU percentages at 70.
Guys, give us one more second. I don't want you guys to have to suffer with the stuttering stream, so we're going to try another internet setup.
Bitrate down to 11.
So this stream is probably going to die on
It's
Facebook,
fine on
so I'm going to
ours.
reshare it and you guys can jump back
Benji,
on.
We're not gonna try it yet. Look, now our CPU usage is way down. Okay. So I just took our data rate down.
Okay.
And I think that had some effect.
Have you streamed
because
from here
now-
before?
We did
now
once
we're
and it was
much
fine.
better. So ask people now how we're doing, but look at our drop frames.
No, it's fine.
It's fine.
Okay, guys, is
Okay,
the
great.
stream smoother now or worse?
Give
Let
them
me
a
know.
wave.
Better? Less stuttery?
Is it
Less laggy?
is it the clap? Do you
I
clap?
think last time
We
were
do that
here,
for the
you
audio.
said it
Oh,
really
for
well
sure.
because you foresaw this being an issue.
For me
You did,
on...
I'm sure you did. I remember you doing that. What's the feedback? Because I think we're good now because our CPU usage is way down and we're still consistent at basically the same upload speed.
No feedback just yet, but you're also still on my screen, so
That's
give
true.
me a second.
I think
That's
we're
what I
good
was
now.
gonna say.
I was like, you're not here anymore.
What?
You gotta take care of them knees, bro.
And Michi
Yeah.
is here. How is it? Comment, good, bad, maybe so. I know that's not one of the options.
Maybe so. Maybe so is like doing this, I think, like the worm, right? I can't do it because I'm not like...
All right, Dan, why
I
don't
have
you,
no rhythm,
while they're
but-
waiting for it to work out, why don't you show
Why don't I
everyone
do
your
the
dance
worm?
skills? You should do the worm.
Oh.
How's that? That's
What,
pretty
you're
good,
not
right?
as good as Iggy?
No, I can't do it like Iggy. Iggy jumping around.
Salar,
What are you looking for?
you got any dance
Let's see
skills?
that carnivore
I'm actually just making sure that I got everything out.
of your car.
No, just in general.
And special guest.
Hello.
It's me.
Who is this?
Thanks for letting us stream here, Michi.
For sure. I'm Salar.
Hi, nice to meet you.
The dogs are in the bedroom.
I can hear them. Hear the pumpkins.
They hear you.
So I think we're good now. What are people saying?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
We're good.
Yeah, go ahead. Everybody says we're good? Yeah, no, I think it was just our bit rate that we were trying to upload was too much, so it was just like killing the computer. So yeah.
Yeah, it looks good to me.
Great. So
How do you not think of that? Bocce.
I can't think of everything. I can only think of like 99.9%. That's why you're here, Paul. You're that 0.1%.
I forgot the guns. So.
I was gonna bring you valves.
No, it's a little bit different than a Jesus.
Pin.
Excuse me. No.
Everything will remind you.
Come here. No.
Okay, cool. So we're good to go. Let's restart.
All right.
So everyone had to suffer with that. Why don't we show them something cool, which are some of the guns?
Yeah, let's see some of your Lapcos.
Okay.
And we'll look at your Lapcos. We'll talk about some of the history on them. Did you bring your rub line?
I did
You
not.
left your rub line at home. How disappointing.
Cool. Yeah, we're good to
It's
go.
actually, I didn't think it was gonna be so hard to bring everything, but
It's a pain.
yeah, you need a big suitcase.
But you do have your Rocco's Modern Life. Oh, that's all the Nickelodeon shows right there. You got Rugrats. You got Rocco's Modern Life.
That's
Right,
all. I
like,
think
what are
that's
you
only
talking
Rugrats.
about? No, that's that's the
That's
dog.
the
This
other
is not Rocco's Modern Life.
Rugrats was my thing.
No. Well, it's good that you still have your blankets from Rugrats.
Before you talk about that, we have one question. I don't even know if it's really a question, but question. I have an autococker, and last time I used it, I stripped the back block where you screw the pump arm. That seems more like a statement, but get a new back block.
Yeah, you can get your back block from Big B the Benji, PBDnA.com.
More like BacciPaintball.com, because that's where he has.
Do you have a
stuff.
website?
I have social media and a website going up.
So you just post
I'm gonna
it
have
on Facebook.
ETA, 1 week for Benji's website.
PaintballDNA.com and 3dpaintball.com.
Paintball DNA.
Yeah, what's
Couple
your
months out,
Oh,
probably.
you got a new theme song.
What is it?
Paintball. Oh,
You have to be
You're
in the
trying to do
camera.
the Bocce
You can't
Paintball
just-
song?
You can't just be over there. Here.
PaintballDNA.com.
But you're not even in the camera, Paul. So like people hear it, but they won't
Hear
see
my
it.
golden voice.
I think he
Yeah.
calls it a
I
camel.
thought that they can see him.
No, that camera's pointing straight down. That camera's pointing straight at us.
Oh.
So he's out of it over there. Yeah.
Because
Oh my
usually
gosh,
you can see the
delicious.
person at the computer. Right?
Yeah. Well, you can see that where he's at now
Oh,
because it's the webcam on the
Okay,
computer.
that's running. Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
How do you do that picture-in-picture?
It's just a webcam turned on through OBS. Can't give away all our secrets, man.
No.
I don't think it's a
You
secret.
want to try this?
I'm gonna have one beer, but I don't want to drink your beer.
Drink this beer.
I don't want your cooties.
The Hefeweizen.
I'm gonna drink whatever Benji gives me.
I'll give him give Bocce the berry beer.
Okay.
No, I'm not having the berry.
Well,
beer.
bring me the
Okay,
bottle
so
opener back.
so
It's in the box.
all right. So
Okay.
did that answer that person's question?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about that Grey Ghost?
All right. First, let's see what you remember about it.
Oh man, this is hard. I got this Grey Ghost on eBay probably like 6 months ago or so. The seller was in Texas, and the way that he wrote the description, it sounded like he had a store at one point, but he didn't specify it was like if it was a paintball store. But he mentioned that he had it on display, and it
I have a store where I sell shrimp.
put a paintball gun. Yeah, you know.
That's right.
But it was cool, and at the time I just really wanted to find a Grey Ghost because through Dan, I had learned a little bit about the history and how it was made by Colin Thompson. And he was someone local, so yeah, it was cool. It came up. I saw it had the cool camo grips. It was an eBay buy, so you pay full price, but it's unique.
I would say you got a good deal on it. It has a couple of very unique features. And
I do like the grips.
did you watch the video with Glenn where he's talking about his interactions with Colin? And he shows off his Grey Ghost and his brother's Colin gun. You didn't watch that video, man?
I
That's
did-
like
no. I
that's
probably
like the number
did.
one tie to you.
Listen.
right there.
I've probably watched all of your.
I think you have.
YouTube videos, right?
You're the only one that does, I think. You comment on almost everyone. You and
I haven't
Jorge.
And
watched
I
a
like
single
them also.
Bocce paintball video.
But I'm
No,
not.
no,
It's
I
not.
have.
It's not 100% there. Like it's in a background or it's in a side window. You know. So maybe I don't recall every single thing. But yeah.
Just listen to that one playlist of uploads, and they just all go through. Some of it sticks, but that's what all that really matters. Some of it sticks, and that's what made you want to buy this.
Totally.
So this is an awesome ghost right here. A couple things that I have never, or I don't know if I've never seen another one with a welded feed neck, but I have very rarely seen one with a welded feed neck. So is the GoPro on, Paul?
I think he mentioned 1 of 13.
I think he did mention that.
I haven't shot that one though, because it's difficult to air up. You know, the tank is like.
It's frozen. 1 second.
Okay.
Keep it in the frame.
Good.
What kind of GoPro do you guys use?
Unfrozen?
That one's
Okay, so
session
as we
4,
can see
but Dan
right
has
here,
a couple different
it's a
ones.
little difficult because I have to hold it
So it's
underneath
a
the
newer
camera.
one.
But we can see we have a welded feed neck on this ghost, which is actually really cool. It's not something you normally see. You will occasionally see a much longer feed neck on some
Bring
of
it
the,
up a little.
on some of the. Are we still good? Okay, you. Actually, I'll just show it, and then I'll talk about it once I'm back over there. Also notice there's a screw in the sight right here, which is a little weird. I don't know if you can see that.
Did it ever have a sight rail on the barrel or no? Or a
You have a
sight
little
tip?
scrape there, so probably. If you remind me, I'll see if I can find one for you.
For sure.
Okay, so a couple things about this ghost. This ghost has the Wintec trigger frame right here. It has the camo molded grips. It has this welded on feed neck. It has the 8th MPT valve body with Lapco stamped upside down right here. It has a screw hole in the front of the sight rail right here, which is, I have no idea what the point of that is. See that right there?
Is it threaded
Oh,
for
you
some
know what?
extension or something?
I think what it is it's just a set screw to lock into this screw to just make sure it stays on. You know, so that this screw can't turn, so it can't loosen up. Because maybe your threads are stripped on this one, so that keeps it in. But the two main things on this are the welded feed neck and the camo grips. Those are things that you very rarely see. I believe the camo or any of the Lapco grips were molded by someone named Rick West, who was one of Colin's friends, and Colin had actually a photo with him that he sent me back when he was around.
I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, it's
Lapco.
so all these grips say Lapco,
Okay.
and some of them say W1, W2. This one doesn't have the W1 or W2. Maybe it's just the W1 and it doesn't have.
I wish they still made grips like this. Like,
Yeah,
this
they're-
is
they're
just
pretty-
ideal.
they're pretty sweet
I like
grips.
die stickies. I put die stickies on almost all of my pumps and autocockers. Everything I shoot is pretty much 45 frames. So
One thing about die stickies though is, let's see, what year do you think this would be? Like 91, 92, most likely. So that would be how many years ago? Like 28 years ago.
yes.
So your die stickies are not going to be
26.
sticky in 26 years.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to be, I mean, they're going to be very sticky, basically like
So
you touch
what-
them and they melt.
What is this made out of? Is
So probably this is like some kind of mold that they had, and then they would fill the mold with whatever they actually.
I
whatever-
love how everything is still so, well maintained after
Yeah.
all this time. It's
Yeah,
just
I
the
mean,
quality of construction was just much better.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and I would think that. Okay, so there's a couple things about this ghost that are a little odd. So it has a serial of 1670. So if we think about Colin's production line, he was originally producing ghosts in Los Angeles because it's LA Paintball Company, Los Angeles Paintball Company, that's Lapco.
Yep.
So he was originally producing them in his apartment in Los Angeles, which I think was like Olympic Wilshire area. I can't remember, I would have to look at his address.
Where
But
I live.
yeah, I think it's around that area. I think that's where he was living. I could be wrong on that. But
Jealous?
what?
No, it's
Have you
Uh,
met Colin Thompson?
Yeah, I met him like a couple months before he passed away, because
Really?
he passed away in April of 2014.
You have an interview with him that you recorded.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's one of the coolest things that you do is actually you take the time to pursue these people and get the story because
Yeah.
Well,
That-
it's keeping the guys alive, especially
yeah,
consider
that's
if paintball's around in 100 years, 150 years, like these are going to be the interviewing the guy who created basketball. You know,
Yeah.
like right
Yeah.
now there's not 100 million people who are interested, but eventually.
I mean, that's what I try to
They
tell
will
myself,
want it.
that, you know, even if someone's just watching it now and they're enjoying it, that's worth it.
Cool.
Yeah. But let's see, what was I saying? So Colin started making ghosts in about probably 1989. He started with the Colin gun, and I think the barrels for those were originally made by Sigma, Randy Kristoff Sigma in Chatsworth. And then after that, he was basically okay, let me go back a little bit.
Just the barrels.
Just the barrels. So he was using like a Nell Spot grip frame, and he was putting it on the Sigma barrel, and it was just a black barrel, and he had his pump made by someone. It was a Delrin pump. I think that was probably also made by Sigma, and he assembled that with just a standard ASA that somebody else was making. Sigma could have even been making those, and he sold that as the Colin gun. And so the Colin gun is actually what Glenn's brother Richard Forrester has, and it actually has a similar pump to this, which is I think Nylotron, and it actually says Colin right here on the side of it, which is really cool.
Cool.
And then after that, he started anodizing them gray, and that's when they actually began to be called the Gray Ghosts.
Gray Ghosts.
Yeah, and the Gray Ghosts, they still had the Nell Spot grip frame, and then he went through a few other grip frames. He went through the WGP like transitional grip frame, which is the grip frame between the Commando and the Sniper 1 and the Sniper 2. It's kind of that very brief grip frame, and it's made out of an actual machined aluminum, so it can actually be anodized. So he actually had those grip frames anodized the same color as the gun, which was really cool. And then shortly after that time, he had Wendell at Wintech actually make this frame. And according to John Sivers and I believe Colin, I'm not totally clear on what Colin told me, but John Sivers told me that Colin actually designed this grip frame, gave it to Wendell, and then Wendell machined it and used it not only on his guns, but on, he sold or gave them to Colin as well. And in about 1990, John Sivers actually bought Colin out, and he moved Colin down to to San Diego, and that's when they actually produced the most ghosts. So both of your ghosts, if you want to grab the other one, you can see that they have kind of the more common assembly, or the more common look, which is this pump handle right here, the step-down barrel with the spring recessed underneath it. They have the Wintech style frame. They have, either the 8th MPT valve body or the Lapco style valve body, and that's like the signature look that Ghost had during that time. And that was also the period where most of them were made. So when you see a Ghost that's actually serialized, this one is 1670. What's that one?
1389. So it's lower.
It's lower, but it's still pretty high. If that is the 1300.
Okay,
Ghost.
so the thing that kind of trips me out is that this seems older than this, but this has a lower serial number. So
thinking about it a little bit more, I'm thinking that because what Colin said is that 1,500 ghosts were made, and after 1,500 there were a few more custom styles. And I'm thinking that maybe this is a leftover body that he had that had a welded feed neck, and maybe they were having some kind of production issues, so they had to actually weld these feed necks on and then use these bodies. Okay. So that could be why this would be a later Ghost.
But the parts just seem older.
Yeah,
right.
Look at
these bolts and stuff.
Okay, well these are actually the same. Well, they're slightly different.
Is this not brass?
This is brass, but these are also plated brass. I don't think they're stainless.
Okay. I don't know that much about metal, but when I look at this, I just think, oh, it's some type of aluminum or stainless steel.
Yeah.
So I think the real question is, can you play with it? How good are you with the Gray Ghost versus
no.
CCM?
That one, okay, so that one I can't because I have to change the bottom line so that it can fit a modern tank. But I just put on my 13 CI Ninja tank on this, and it shot, I think, 265 on my chrono. So that's good. I could do some damage with.
How do you like the right feed versus standard? Center feed.
Yeah, because most of the pumps that you're playing with are all center feed, right?
Yes, I don't have a good elbow. I have to get used to it, but it's cool.
I heard you can get elbows on PaintBallDnA.com or Big B the Benji.
Those aren't up yet, dummy.
Is PaintBallDNA a live website?
Nope. It will be.
It
I don't
will
know
be.
why you're sharing it. Dan's dumb.
So-
Do you have the domain up?
I do.
What happens when people go to it?
Nothing.
You need to direct to your
You gotta
Instagram.
forward it to BacciPaintball if he's gonna shout it out.
You gotta just have your Instagram feed up there, like a grid with your Instagram feed.
Yeah.
True. I've been too busy printing stuff.
What are you building it on, WordPress?
Shopify.
Why? Just do WordPress.
Dan
It's so cheap.
suggested Shopify.
Dude, you could just do it.
For him, I would say Shopify because he doesn't want content. He wants.
Then why not Wix?
I mean, he could do Wix. I
Wix
personally don't like
Yeah,
Wix.
Wix
but
is good.
The websites I've seen in Wix, I don't like.
How about Squarespace?
Squarespace is okay, but when I've built a site in Squarespace, it takes a little bit more configuring of the styles to get something that you would actually like, and that's not something I would see Benji wanting to mess with.
Okay, so you
Whereas-
actually do have experiences.
Not with Wix. I don't have building experience with
I
Wix.
built my
I
first
just need it to be
website on
functional,
Wix. ever.
straight up.
Yeah.
I mean, Shopify, you can do that. And like if you're doing WordPress, you got to do WooCommerce. And for installing the extensions on WooCommerce, it might be too much of a leap. Although you will have something that you won't have to pay per month for.
That's true.
So there's plus and minuses to
You
all
can
these
learn
things.
WooCommerce in one. I learned a lot of stuff on YouTube, and that's just.
I have so much to learn already with 3D printing. I can't do a million things. So
Which
I
is
should almost
why-
just like pay someone to build it.
Which is why I
No.
suggest Shopify. So if you are in the website building
How much is Shopify?
industry and you want to build Big B the Benji a website
for little to no money.
for some in exchange for some 3D printing, then
True,
you got to
true.
hit him up.
It would be fun. I would help you. Let's do it.
Pound that. Ooh, grab that. Nice.
I feel like you just white man to me. Like I'm normally the one who does that.
Well, I think I'm the one who does that.
No, you take it. You take it even further.
Yeah.
All right, what else did you bring us? I see CCMs. I see Cockers. Are you guys done with your ghost history?
I don't know. Are we? One thing I was going to ask you is, do you have the tank this year's in here?
I still do.
So
It's
you could
very big. It's
you
like
could take the actual
60 or
tank.
40.
You could take the tank off the reg and put one of your little 13 CIs on there. If it's the same thread. Some of them aren't the same threads.
I don't trust that thing, dude. It's cool, but I don't trust it.
I mean, why would you trust it less than any of the other regs that...
I don't know. I don't know how to
use?
rebuild that thing, and I don't really feel like taking it apart.
I mean,
You
you
don't
could just
feel
take
like
this
it
off and put a
exploding?
duck bill just like that on there.
Yeah,
So-
that's what I was gonna do.
Yeah, just do that.
But this is kind of the same color, and I would probably only find a black one. So
Did you look on BigBTheBenji.com?
Enough. Look at BacciPaintball.com, but it's probably going to be rusted and falling apart.
I do have some.
you have so much stuff on your website, so I'm sure I could find a duck build.
You
this
could find
color.
duck bills, but I don't know if I have some that
They
are
say
that color.
Brian says hi, John
Where do you
says
keep all
hello,
this stuff?
Solar.
All over
Brian
the place.
Paris says hello. We have a dog here. Who's a doggy?
If we had streamed at my place, you would have seen it. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
it's
fine.
fine.
All
Um,
those parts are in
Okay,
place.
want a treat?
The parts on the website are.
Want a treat?
Let's
Some of it's in
see.
storage too.
Okay.
Where is SoCal Stock playing? That was a question we had.
We have an upcoming game. I don't know where it is. I've been like.
I will find out right now. Do you know the date of the SoCal Stock?
I think it's like April 28th, maybe. It's towards the end of the month.
I think that's the case also. What do you think? Where would you think they're playing?
What's up, Paint Paul?
Tends to be Jungle Island more than anything.
I don't know what.
I think it's Jungle Island.
Jungle Island.
Jungle Island.
Jungle Island.
I'm not sure, but I'm just excited for Super Game. That's kind of taking the place of all other events in my
What's
head.
Super Game?
Because that's coming up. May? May.
Oh.
We didn't even really register yet. We got our flights, which is all I was really concerned with. But for those of you who are playing Super Game, which I know is a lot of you, what side are you going to be on? What side do you think
red
we
side.
should be on?
Are you gonna play, Paul?
I know a lot of people in
You gonna go?
SoCal are going to be red side. We were thinking about going
You're gonna go?
Renegade like
Where's Super
last
Game?
time.
It's in order.
Are you guys flying out there?
Yeah.
We are.
For what, like Friday to Sunday?
What is the date? What's the date?
I don't know.
May 3rd through 5th, I believe.
You guys drove last year,
We
right?
drove. We went up.
We
to
were-
Olympiad
we were,
in an RV for like 2
chauffeured.
weeks.
We're chauffeured.
So what do
all
you think
around.
is better, to fly
West
up there or to
Beach.
drive up there?
VIP.
Escalade limo?
You
No.
know, back
Giant
then
RV.
when I wasn't working as much and just kind of being lazy, it made sense to kind of meander and see the sights. But I was like, even though it
You live streamed from inside the
Right.
RV, right, with your dog.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be doing a lot more live stream this time at Super Game. We're gonna do a live stream from within the Ginger Dynamics booth. We're gonna do some over-the-shoulder live stream on the field. Dan and I both going at the same time, hopefully. which should be pretty cool. And we decided to fly this time.
Live stream at the same
At least
time.
one.
You haven't seen our over the shoulder?
Then you haven't seen all the YouTube videos on BacciPaintball.com.
I have seen you wearing like some big contraption, but I don't remember if it was over the shoulder or what it was. Or over the head.
So we have a couple different setups that we use. We have the backpack, which allows us to live stream with the GoPro, and we have done with the GoPro here on the front of the mask, and then we've also done with the GoPro on the extended arm.
And I've done it on the barrel also.
We haven't live streamed with it on the barrel.
True.
So in Guerneville,
actually might be kind of cool.
No, that wouldn't work because the cord. You don't want the cord on the front of your barrel. You want the cord in a contained spot, like on the front of your mask, where it's going directly into your backpack, or on your shoulder on the backpack, arm, which is coiled around. So if you have it on your gun and you're switching arms, you're gonna get unplugged. You're gonna get messed up. So.
How's your reception when you play in the mountains?
In Guerneville, it was great.
Really?
Our live stream was really cool there.
Because it's spew and few, we have no reception.
We had no reception. In Guerneville,
once you pass a certain part, you get no reception.
Right. At Super Game, we will probably...
We had decent
we'll
reception
either go on the 4G or we will use... I heard there might be Wi-Fi there.
Well, yeah, I think there is Wi-Fi there. But last year, when I streamed from the backpack on the field...
Paul, I think we're lagged out again.
We're lagging again?
Mm-hmm. Super choppy. Damn it.
Have you seen this?
No, I didn't.
Paul, try. Tim said it was. Tim said it was less laggy without you in the corner. You want to turn that off and just come over here?
I think the first 300 or 300 or so had a notch in the front block. So when I bought this slice kit, Gene had to.
Did you turn it off already?
That's why you see
Okay, guys. Let me know if it's less laggy now, or the same, or
this is baked
worse.
by Adam Cable. I sent him the body in Ohio.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. That is so cool.
Mm-hmm. He actually made the sled and the whole mid block, and then I put a CCM lower tube kit in there.
This is actually really sick. Except for your hitting on the front. Too bad it hits, huh?
What do you mean?
Right there, how your pin actually hits the... It doesn't have a stop in some way.
Is that because I should...
Dan, why don't you hold that up in front of the camera? Show people what you're talking about.
I'm trying to think. I think if you had some kind of piece right here that actually inserted into here and actually stopped it right there. Mm-hmm. So it's just a perfect thickness. So we're looking at this carnivore, which is awesome. It's a two-tone matte and gloss, which I think is my favorite carnivore coloring.
This is an old one.
But
that's okay. It's seen worse.
Yeah,
it's a really old one, and when I got it, it was just rusted all on the inside, so I had to really clean it out.
Did you buy it as a mech or just a body or what?
It was all original. It had
so it was
E1 kit.
The E1?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it was some guy that
Paul, that's
estate sale or something.
Better?
Yeah.
What did you do, Paul?
Turn my webcam off.
Oh. I don't know how that would have any effect, but great.
Die slider frame though.
Yeah.
This is my favorite frame. Slider frame.
Slider?
Yeah.
You have very little slop.
It's pretty. I actually think that's a pretty I don't know. It is pretty sloppy.
It's sloppy, but your front and back is sloppy. It's not your side to side.
Yeah.
You do have a little side to side slop, but I would actually, if you had a slightly thicker plate, it would be awesome. But it's almost like your spring.
I'm not sure.
Like you need a different spring in there.
I'm not sure if the internals are original.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
For the frame?
Yes.
Did you originally have one of Gene's auto trigger kits on here too?
No.
Because I noticed that your safety hole is well, it's raw on both sides, which made me think it was drilled out.
Exactly. It was.
It was drilled out.
Yes, but I took off the auto trigger because I preferred it without it.
Was it a CCM auto trigger or Gene's auto trigger?
No, it was the GAT products auto trigger. Yeah, exactly. But for these pre-2K slider frames, you have to kind of make the safety hole a little bit larger for it to fit. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a cool carnivore. So explain to our viewers what you actually did with the fakie mid block. Is that what it's called?
Exactly. So I had a few.
So hold it up.
Oh.
Hold it like towards the camera right here.
Where's
I
the
know
camera?
you're like
Where's
mystified by like which like where are the cameras?
That one right
Yeah,
there.
there's a lot of gear.
Yeah.
So I had a few carnivores, and one of them was set up. One of
Here,
them.
I got it.
Okay, for sure. One of them was set up as a factory mid block. One of them was set up as a mechanical, and this one was a full block pump. And I decided to get it fakied after I saw David Adhoot's Ronin cut fakie, which was just absolutely awesome. He has a chrome, or I don't know if they call it chrome or nickel, but it just shot amazing for a fakie mid block. So he gave me the idea. I found.
So is the back block like stuck on there?
Yeah,
now?
it's static.
How's it held on?
I'll show you. So, Adam Cable in Ohio cut the body from the top so that he could use a mid-block sled, and the back block is basically for show now because you completely eliminate the internal caulking rod system that carnivores use. So the lower tube kit is just a CCM. You know, whatever you would see in like a S6.5, you know? So I made this kind of intentionally tight so it doesn't fall out when I play, but this back block is essentially there for show. Cool. And you see the IVG there where you can adjust your chrono.
Yeah.
And then you can take the bolt out here.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Fakie? The fakie block?
I've seen very few. I think it's pretty cool.
Have you ever seen that, Benji?
I have seen it. I don't know if I saw it online, but I have seen something similar. So we are still stuttering. Let's try my 4G now.
No, we're not gonna change it up.
What are you gonna do now?
I'm gonna look at it and see what Paul's.
Enough stuttering. The people want smoothness.
Hey, what's the downside if this hits the front? Is it just damaging the body or what?
I would think so.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna be like, imagine just hitting the aluminum, the raw aluminum over and over and over. It's gonna like make a little like marring, basically.
I don't know if you're worried, put a little felt pad or something right there.
Well, no, I'm confused. Like, what's the actual proper way to fix it? Is it a longer pump arm or is it screwing out the sled farther?
With a longer pump arm, it's not going to help because your pump's still gonna go forward all the way.
Still gonna go all the way regardless.
So what I would do is I would add a stopper that actually hits the arm inside the two tubes. So you have your top tube and you have your bottom tube and you have your gap in between. And if you actually have a like a Delrin U-shaped thing
right there
that actually
somewhere.
blocks it from like going, you know, all
like
but
a
millimeter
slot blocker.
forward.
I got you.
So right in the middle there, and then it'll
How would I
stop
keep
it.
that in there? How would I keep it from falling
How
out?
did you keep your fakey back block in? I don't know your magic, your black magic.
Yeah, like O-rings and I don't know.
It just has to have a really good tight fit, and you'll.
Yeah.
Put some silicone on there.
But your
Silicone
pump
would
stroke
make it,
is
like, slippery.
beyond nice.
Yeah.
It is so.
Exactly
Yeah.
what it is
The
about
slice
Paul.
kit is amazing. Did you see the front block notch?
See this guy.
Dude, it's so smooth. That puts all of my guns to shame.
Oh yeah.
Mostly
When
just your Evo, though.
I
not,
was
not your
playing in
Oracle,
like
though,
2005 and carnivores were being sold, I had no interest in a carnivore. I think at Tia Rahada in Paintball USA, out of like the 60 regulars that would play there every weekend, there was only one guy that would play with a carnivore, and he was probably, you know, how old we are now, but he was there with his carnivore just destroying people. I would just be like a sitting duck with my like mongoose. Like,
Was it a carnivore with the E-blade on it?
I don't remember the details. Like, dude, I didn't even know what like a E-blade kit was until maybe 1 year ago. I didn't even play pump until probably 2 years ago.
That's awesome. No,
Wow.
That's like the same thing as me though.
Yeah,
I think
for
we're
sure.
just dealing with it, Benji. I just watched it. It seems okay. You know, it
But
might
you
be,
had a lot more
it might
electro
be, it looks like,
experience.
you know, we're getting a
My
little frame
electro
rate,
experience
but
was like new.
in terms
walk
of
on.
like the actual
waddle,
with us.
waddle on the field, like.
watching it,
You gotta play with us.
Sean says better on Facebook than on YouTube.
Huh.
Seems like a lot of people felt the other
Super
way.
game worth it.
I've never
Okay,
been
guys.
to. Benji's been to a lot of super games.
Dan, you don't want to try the...
I like small
My
games.
Wi-Fi?
I like 1v1.
Nah,
Just
2v2.
stay with it? All right.
Too.
Because
That's
it's gonna
100
kill
on
it, so I think
100.
we
I don't know
should
who
just-
I'm.
All right, guys,
choosing.
we are going to keep going. I'm sorry for the stuttering issues this week. Next week, it's going to be a non-issue. So for now, sorry.
For now, R.I.P. us.
R.I.P. us. That's it.
Us.
Okay, Paul,
I do feel
can you
like
pass
it's a
me
shooter.
my 2 guns over?
I hear radio podcasts are the
The way to go.
yeah the way to go these days.
I mean,
So
that would save us a lot of trouble
Can't
because
believe Boston
then
had
people wouldn't
that,
actually have to see us. They could just hear us talk about these amazing
Yeah.
paint guns and
But
this
then you can't show
amazingly
off.
rich history.
I know it. Then it's hard to show stuff off.
You
That's
can't
true.
show your babies. That's right.
Oh, that is badass.
Yeah, so that's a gun that in the past
I do
was
like this comment from Regnick1133. Die stickies in about 5 years equals the consistency of chewing gum fresh from someone's mouth. And I would say that's chewing gum that you actually chew like some starch or some, something that's actually going to start breaking your gum down.
Not grenade gums.
Yeah, not grenade gum.
I don't know.
I really like these grips. Have you felt these grips, the System X?
But that is the same
Stickies?
plastic
I have felt
as
them.
the die stickies.
But I
so-
haven't seen
They don't
any,
quite do the finger.
Yeah, I haven't
groove
seen
as-
any System X stickies get all...
Because there's
Gummy.
barely any people that use System X stickies. So...
Okay.
Is this Anno? I thought this was paint.
No, that's Anno. Oh. Scratched
That's when you
Anno.
know it's a good anno, dude.
Yeah, so what Salar is holding here is, I've shown this one off before, but Dan actually happened to find the matching barrel that I was missing in his gear. So now I have a complete AIM Eagle.
What do you think, Paul?
One of the very
It's as
few
good as
Eagles
it
that
gets.
I've seen with all the like matching AIM parts. You always see the body kits around, and
I mean, our CPU
it's
is
still
pretty low,
kind of wild.
so we're fine,
When I
right?
got this recently, I was like, well, I wonder how much these are going for now, and if they're decent or anything. And the one post that I found, like the first post I found,
Was it mine?
said, no, the first post I found said, the AIM Eagle is the ugliest, worst
Oh
cocker
my
I've ever
gosh.
seen. And
It's
it,
tripping.
yeah, I wrote it like 12 years ago.
I agree with your 12-year-olds or your 12 years
that
ago
cover
self,
looks
though.
nice.
I mean, it looks nice because it's all matching and it's all the
It
original
looks
parts.
like,
Yeah.
it looks like a
So you
The
came
one that I
full
had,
circle.
yeah, the one that I had was
Well, he
just
wants
the
to sell
body.
it now, so.
No, I'm not selling
You
it.
know.
This one, I just had
If
the
you
body.
wanna buy it, though,
and
how much
had
is it gonna cost?
Dude, it had a feed neck like all the way up here, and it had all mismatching
Stacked.
parts. It was ugly.
So if someone wanted to buy this, what's the price that it's going for?
A Bell Sales Evo.
No way.
So if I was going to
I'm not
offer you
selling it.
$450, you would sell it to me, right?
It is
So you
really
buy it
in.
for 30
It is in
bucks
good condition.
I would.
Oh yeah, you have one too.
I would not.
I had one. I sold it,
It
for
would
180.
probably
but that was
take-
like 2 years
What kind
ago.
of pneumatics are these?
550.
This is WGP.
600. These are stock AIM pneumatics, which were made by WGP,
No,
right? Or
AIM
AIM was making WGP
AIM was
parts.
making parts
I got
for
it.
WGP.
So the RAM looks pretty much just like an STO RAM, and
No, it's significantly different.
it looks very similar. Come on.
It's pretty similar to the old style STO RAM.
But on an STO RAM, they don't have that swoop in the back like this, and they don't have this front cap either. Oh, the RAM. I was looking at the
RAM.
This beer is like messing me up. Yeah, no, I think that they were actually making these RAMs and possibly the switches for WGP.
Were you talking about the LPR?
Yeah, I was talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
LPR.
yeah.
That's an LPR, Dan.
Thanks. I need to know these things, so I'm glad that you guys informed me.
You should jump on paintballhistory.com.
Paintballhistory.com, is that up right now? This is
Nope.
They must have been making the STO bolts too, because this is basically an STO bolt but with a different back.
So
on
it seems like the AIM is an AIM/STO.
15-year-old me would not have liked
that's
that
a
gun
rare
either.
STO Eagle.
Yeah, honestly,
This is the
even if
STO
you
Eagle.
pump that now, you're gonna have to kind of work for it. But
Anthony
I do
says,
like this
change the
safety
title to Salar has the smoothest stroke. What were we going to call it?
Well,
I do
called
have
it
the smoothest stroke.
No, what did we say we were going to call it before?
empanadas.
Yeah, that, oh shit.
Is that burned by now, bro?
Was it in the oven?
Did you turn it on?
No.
Placed in the oven, but not turned on in the oven.
Well, why don't you sit down and talk about guns with Dan? I'll go get your empanadas.
I would say on this, since you have these holes here, I would probably put like some little like key fob things hanging off of there. What do you think?
I can put my race gun keychains.
There you go, race gun keychains. And then when you run around the field, it's like chitter chatter, chitter chatter, chitter chatter.
Yeah, such a hater.
Yeah. Are you gonna sit down with us, Paul? Move Benji's laptop and sit down with us.
Yeah, take a seat.
Sit down with us. Come on, the people want to see paint, Paul. They want their paint prescription.
Is this hard?
No, I don't like being on camera. I'm usually behind it.
You lie like a rug, Paul. You love it. You love the attention.
No way.
Don't you edit video though? Don't you edit video?
I edit videos. I don't.
It doesn't
I'm not on
desensitize you to the.
Nope.
So,
I'm never on.
do we have any questions?
I can't even tell where it, like, who is what.
Yeah, you don't even know, like, you're, like,
Is that missing the LPR, like, screw in the front?
No, it has a screw in there.
The
Okay,
VN60.
I want Palmer's stuff now.
Just
After
have one of those, right, Benji?
After seeing Eduardo and his pyre.
You just have a purple one.
That thing
I
is
did
nice.
have a purple one.
It was a VMX, so it wasn't a Carter.
Right.
Yeah.
The VMX was really nice too, but this one is nicer.
I can't believe that this barrel
Super
actually...
nice.
So a lot of people
Looks
have
good on
seen the
there.
VM68s. You know, I remember seeing VM68s as just the only guns I ever saw with 2 tanks on them, or 3 tanks.
Or 4 tanks.
Or 4 tanks.
You know, you can
Have
really
you
go as
seen
many
5?
tanks as you want.
I don't
You fit 4
understand.
tanks on
Okay,
that.
so-
in the front, you could mount a tank right there. So you'd see like a 9-ounce there normally, then you'd have a tank here, and then you'd have a tank here, and then, what, they had tank off the back? Where was the 4th tank?
Yeah.
Was
But-
it? Does it all have to
And
be
that would
like
get you a
CO2,
combined 100 shots.
Or can you?
Well,
mix
you're not going to
that?
mix CO2 and HPA.
Why not?
What you might do is you
the
might do
V2 for
HPA
paintballs?
with
No.
volume chambers. The rest of them might be
Just a side
volume
rail.
So
chambers.
what's the top?
Propane.
Here. No.
Uh,
Okay, so let me talk a little bit about VM68s now.
Yeah.
All right. So
Dan's gonna.
you said 4 tanks, but I'm thinking more like 5 or 6 because you might want to have a tank coming, like a little bracket that comes up and out like 90 degrees right here. So you got a tank coming back at you like a 3.5.
Plus, you can have one of those like
You wanna-
ASA splitters, so you could run
you
2
could.
tanks
You could
off.
have. You could go with the.
You could- two
the-
tanks,
what's
two
it
tanks,
called?
2 tanks.
It's the Lapco. It's like the double bottom line is what Colin made.
I've seen that.
Yeah, you've probably seen it on PaintballDnA.com.
No, I saw it on. I think on your website.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, so what is that thing called? It is the.
You just named it the Lapco double. But it
No, it has a specific
has
name. Though.
yeah.
And it's basically, so if you imagine the Lapco T stocks that have the little drop and then the ASA on the stock, imagine the stock not being there and it's just an ASA, the drop with another ASA, and you have 2 3.5s.
Yes.
Okay, so you got 1 tank, 2 tanks, 3 tanks, and then you have a.
3, 4, right there. Another splitter, right there.
Well, no, you're not gonna. That would be insane.
Nope.
You're not gonna
We're
do
going.
that.
How many tanks
Okay,
can you put on a
so-
VM? And you know what? We have to get the Lapco
Okay,
parts,
so
and we're gonna do this.
Here's what you would do. You would have a
Yes.
remote
And I'm gonna
right
use it
here
on the field.
going into your pack, and
Or a
on your
Lapco
harness
splitter.
you would have 2. So you would have 2, 4. Then you'd also have a VTS here, which gives you a diagonal.
Wow.
So that would be 5. Then you'd have your front, which would be 6. Then you'd have your one on top.
How
which would be 7.
inefficient is this thing?
Okay, so your one on your back would be 220s, and then all of these would be volume chambers, so that you have enough volume to just kind of keep it going. Unfortunately, with this one, it has a ding in the end of the barrel, which you can
so
see
you
right
can't
there.
use it.
Yeah, it's unusable. But if you
Unusable.
take the barrel off, this is a shorty anyway. I prefer like an 18-inch on my BM68. If you take the barrel off and you put on like, an 18-inch, then you're good to go. Any questions?
So, for anyone who's used a VM68, what's the most amount of tanks you've had on there? I know you feel kind of pathetic comparing it
What
to
kind of valve?
Dan's 12-tank setup.
What
But,
kind of valve is in here?
It's basically like just imagine like an autococker. Well, imagine a spider valve because this is an inline, or this is a stack tube blowback.
So it's 11/16, that kind of valve?
It's a similar size to an 11/16, but
Like
it's
a
not like
trilogy?
you couldn't take a trilogy valve and put it in here.
I got
it's
you.
its unique. It's its own unique valve.
'Cause
The valve is actually secured in with these 2 side set screws.
Isn't the valve like a huge part of efficiency?
It is, and the funny thing about VM68s is stock they come with a valve that has 4 openings, and you actually rotate it. You rotate it so that you have the most efficient opening. So you have like very small, a little bit larger, and then very large. And some people will just, you know, drill that out because all the small ones are completely pointless. Or at least in my opinion, they are. You always want to have the largest possible, the largest possible hole output.
You see that even on modern valves.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't look at modern valves, only VM68 valves, so I wouldn't.
Dan doesn't look at modern valves.
I don't look at modern valves.
He's too old school. We have a couple of comments. Let's see. We have Rainick saying he wished he picked up a carnivore when he picked up his Oracle. I think, don't we all? He said he's got an enemy which he has to re-anode and helicoil. That sounds like a pain in the ass. You can just pick up one of the used ones off eBay or something.
Another enemy?
Another enemy.
Or a carnivore?
Enemy.
But isn't the enemy... I don't know enough about enemies to know where the actual frame is screwed on at, because I always just imagine the composite body. Because they do have a composite body,
It's not a composite body. It's all metal.
Straight aluminum.
No.
Pick it up. It's all...
Oh, I thought you meant the GOG.
No,
Me too.
Yeah.
Why would I ever talk about the GOG enemy?
I have no
other than
idea.
to talk
You're
shit
not
about
talking
it?
about the GOG enemy.
That's the
It's-
whole era of guns that I have no idea, or markers that I have no idea about. You know?
Enemies
That's
were
my
used by
era.
Avalanche.
The
in
early DMs, the
2000
early
something.
Ego.
Here we go. We got
Yeah,
we got Dr.
yeah.
Paintball dropping
That's what
some
I grew
history
up
on
on.
us. Turn your webcam back on, Paintball.
No, it's gonna lag it, but
When were
you
the
can hear
enemies
him.
released? Like 2003? And the main team that shot him was the Avalanche?
It would have been 2004.
2004?
Yeah. You know, I didn't even know for the longest time that Avalanche was sponsored. But then one of my homies on Facebook, so I needed a part for my enemy, and he's like, hey, I have a parts enemy I'll hook you up with. And I was like, sick, and he sent me this parts enemy, and it had the Avalanche engraved feed neck, and it was an Avalanche player's gun, and he engraved his initials on the side, and I was like, oh wow, Avalanche was a System X enemy team.
Hey, you better watch those empanadas because I smell them right now.
Yeah, Dan, you want to check those empanadas?
They are fully cooked.
I
They're
do not want them to
in the
burn.
toaster by the window.
Dan's in a rush.
All right, Paul, why don't you check it out? Did any of you guys ever shoot an enemy?
I did.
This thing is very
nice.
ergonomically sound.
Shoots like a
you know?
Timmy.
I mean, yeah.
It does shoot like exactly. It feels like holding Intimidator.
Yeah, it's got. It was an Intimidator knockoff.
This kind of has like the WGP type of ammo, you know, and those old Connor.
Yeah. And so it was an Intimidator knockoff. Whoa. The ones that shot really well.
What's the point of this, dude?
I do remember a bunch.
Why does
had
it need
issues.
this exposed hose? If it has this access.
Because you want everybody to see your hose.
Well, that's part of the knockoffness of it, because the Intimidator had a similar hose, but it was all in the body. So you still had a microline hose from your LPR to the solenoid.
I mean, this gun looks
I
brand new,
remember it
except for the
offhand.
wear on the
The
knob.
gun is
And like
brand
the
new. The
2K5.
knob is used, but the gun
What
itself
year
is
is
new.
What year?
04.
What is this
Oh,
called?
chicken
Like
cord.
what do you call this anodizing pattern?
It's
Does it have
just
a name?
camo black.
Oh.
I have the same gun, but inverse. So I have a camo body with the black parts, and then I have one that's all camo.
Oh.
All of those are new, but the other ones are in parts.
This would have been a direct competitor to like the Bob Long semi guns at the time.
It wasn't really
or cheaper.
a competitor. It was more like,
An alternative.
no, they were trying to, I guess, get a couple of the people who weren't too educated about what Intimidators were to look at it and go, oh, well, that's an Intimidator.
Very
And
close.
they didn't get a ton of sales.
But companies do that today, and they're very successful.
What's an example?
Oh, I don't want to talk bad about any company.
Well, you know,
but
you had the, what was it, the Invert Mini and then the Valken...
Proton?
Is it the Proton?
I don't know. I never remember.
It
what
was a
it's called.
Valken gun.
But then again, you
It looked
also have
just like the Mini, and you couldn't look at it and go, it's not a Mini, so people might see that for a couple dollars less and pick it up. But I don't think they got enough steam to really be a competitor. It was more just like a thorn in the side.
But then
For
again, the
sure.
Mini is just the King Cobra. So, you know. That's the original gun that the Mini is.
I've never even heard of the King Cobra.
And it's not the King Cobra pump gun.
No,
We're talking
it's
about
not.
the King Cobra Electro. I think Dan has a video up on that, so you can
Yeah, you'll have to look at Bocce Paintball
check that out.
Shorts, I think, is where. But there's also a full video with Tim where he's talking about it. Because there's two different ones. I have a black one and a red one. And so that's like a Chinese-made. I think it's made by a company JBS. Is that right? But anyway, you can look that up. But it's
A
basically-
Chinese-made paintball gun kind of blows my mind. Why would you build?
There you go.
So
Holder.
I guess it was just original design, and then Empire saw it, and they
See,
bought
this is
the-
what a good guest looks like.
Oh yeah.
Why do you have to bring looks into this, Benji? Why is everything about aesthetics to you? I think it's more about like overall kindness and just the ability to share.
Thank you.
Yummy.
Oh yeah, did you make these yourself?
There's no way I made these myself.
I mean, there's some way, but
They are definitely store-bought.
they're really good. Thank you for sure.
Okay, so Kevin Foote says the animes did come out in 2004, late 2004, as a 2005 model gun. Same as the original Ego. So that's another reason they weren't too successful,
Thanks,
because
Kevin.
Intimidators are good shooting guns, but I think compared to the 05 Ego even, which, you know, got 1,600 shots off a tank and just wouldn't go down and didn't have the strippings and stripping screws and the microline, like, the Ego took over for a reason, because it was a superior gun. So kind of like the race gun, it just came out at the wrong time a few years earlier, and it might have been able to really do it.
But the Ego is kind of dying out now to the Geo, right? Isn't the Geo kind of the...
It's a CSL, but the LV 1.1 and the LVL and those
They're
are
spool
still
instead of pop-it, right?
those are still pop-it. The CS
Shields are
versions
spools.
are spool.
For sure.
Ish.
Some people love spoolies and some people like
Some people
poppets.
like it a little smoother and they don't mind the loss efficiency. Some people like.
I always shot a
Yeah,
G-
I like both.
G6R. That was my main...
Pop it.
Yeah,
Yeah, have you shot the LV 1.1?
I have not.
Okay, so the LV 1.1 is as fast and as efficient as the G6R with the smoothness of like a DM7.
Huh.
I don't know if
It
it's
is
as efficient,
amazing.
but it's pretty damn efficient.
It's amazing.
Okay.
I love the look of the
By
G6R
far-
with no macro line. And there's just something about Bob Long that I just really liked.
Same here. I have a G6R.
Up,
I
Blake?
owned one for several years, and I still have the same one.
No way.
Yeah.
I don't
Nice.
think I've ever seen you play with it.
This is broken.
Yeah, me either.
R.I.P.
Kevin and
The
Tim at
board?
the same time say the
I need my ASA.
mini knockoff is the code.
And
Oh. Kevin has a video on the Mini knockoff. Kevin Foote.
The
So.
Allen screws are stripped, so
Mhm.
can't fix it. I need to send it in to get it fixed.
And you know, Blast, Bob Long Technologies or whatever they, you know, whatever that
New
acronym
Bob
is.
Long, yeah.
Yeah. So Bob Long was bought by Field One,
Yeah.
and I think Field One still has a bunch of parts, so I'm sure they could help you out. And I think Bob Long's son works at Field One, so he has like a direct line, and hopefully they can help you out.
I'm gonna give it to like one of the Dynasty guys someday. It's like, hey dude, fix this for me, and
They're gonna be like,
I don't have to pay anything then.
Which dynasty?
Don't
guy?
they play in San Diego?
No, they play mostly at Camp Pendleton in
Mhm.
Oceanside,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of them live like around Los Angeles,
really?
Orange County, Los Angeles. Yeah. So,
So-
Brandon Short works at HK Army, which is like 10 minutes away from where I work.
He's your homie.
Brandon Short, I wouldn't call him a homie, but I have lots of
He's-
respect for him. and-
He's your enemy.
So pretty interesting
System
here.
X enemy.
Uh,
This
Ra-
is the area. That's
Yeah.
where everyone lives.
So Rainick was saying about the enemy was that it was basically an improved 2.5 Intimidator with a wasp board stock, super fast, and he said it was the founder of the wasp boards, leaving Bob Long due to creative differences.
So some good insight. So Kevin, if you're watching, Kevin Foote, can you explain to us which you would take right now? Would you take the 2.5 Timmy or would you take the enemy? Is that a good question, Paul?
2K5 Timmy or enemy?
13
Yeah.
here.
Wow,
Take a
so
2K5
more people are
Timmy.
watching.
You would, but what would Kevin Foote
Normally,
take?
yeah.
I
but
only watch
YouTube
2K5
viewers
Timmy?
No,
watch longer.
I'm thinking he would take the enemy.
We
So
had this
what
at
model, what
65
private
minutes
labels
at
did they have for the
1:55.
2.5 Timmy?
Interesting.
They had the Empire, the Dragon, everything.
Let's see if you can name them all. Let's see how many you can name.
Empire, the Dragon.
And you're doing all Intimidators or just
2K5.
5s? Okay.
The Dragon, the GZ. They had a 2K5 GZ. The Alias. Did you already see that?
No. Keep going.
The Ripper.
Yeah.
They did. They had a Ripper.
They had a Ripper.
Ripper 2.5.
Wasn't there also? Did
They
you
had
say?
the Hellwood?
Very few.
Naughty Dogs.
Ooh. Oh no,
You're missing an important one.
Yeah, you are missing an important one.
What kind do I have?
The Lasoya.
What kind
Lasoya?
wrecked your
That's
people?
a big one. I think there's one.
What kind wrecked your people?
Yes.
What else is there? The Species. They had a 2K5 Species.
I
Wow.
think you already said Species.
I think he's gonna
No,
run
he
out of
didn't.
fingers.
I already did.
What
You're
else?
missing one, dude. Why did the U.S. win World War II?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, the Atom Bomb.
There
the
you
Russian
go.
Legion.
Yeah, exactly. There
It's
you
the
go.
Atom Bomb, the Russian
And the Russian Legion.
So
No.
those are two different ones. Paul just combined them.
13.
Paul's basically
Fine,
like
more.
the Russians are the atom bomb.
You know,
Oh, yeah, I think that's it.
all those different variations got like a lot of different people more into paintball. You know,
And I
remember
love the
some
custom
people
building.
only played paintball because they loved their gun so much, and they would spend like $1,200 on like a
I mean, that's still
Lasoya.
how it is. Why do you think we're talking about these guns right now? It's because we love them.
But think about it. Bob Long released 13 different models in 2005. That's
Man.
I know he was
Each
busy.
with just like
So-
beautiful lines and millions.
the Ego came
That's
out
true.
in 2005. Is that right? That's what you guys were saying?
I think it came out in 2004, but it was officially released in 2005.
So how many styles or how many variants of the body for the Ego 2005 was there?
Dude, there was probably so much, but not 14.
No.
Not 14.
For
They probably have
the
private
05
labels.
Ego?
Yeah, private labels. No.
Nope. They just had some custom colors.
Nice.
The blue to white. The
They had the excessive 05 Ego.
All I know is
it-
the Ripper.
it wasn't-
the original Ripper.
it
That's
wasn't
all I
released
know.
right at the same time.
Wait, they had a Ripper.
No, the Ripper Intimidator. That's the only
Oh.
Intimidator I know.
If they had a Ripper Ego back then, I would have bought it.
Yeah.
Back then, though, it was the Mantis only in 06? It might have been a
I don't remember.
Mantis 05 also, but there was the excessive, the Mantis, and then just
What's
stock ones.
what's the comment situation right now? What do we got people?
Let's see. We have Tim at PB Tech
Oh,
saying
we
that
got Tim at
Zach
PB Tech.
I love that guy.
Zach and Bob don't work at F1 anymore. F1 doesn't do repairs on anything older than G6R Victory.
But you know who
Or
does?
Insight.
PaintballTech.com.
That's right. And you know, that's kind of sad because one of the reasons I love Bob Long was I remember I sent them a 2K2 Timmy in like 2010, 2011, and they gave it a new Noid for free. They replaced screws and O-rings and stuff, and I was expecting to pay something, and I just got the gun back in the mail.
Yeah,
working.
they do that. They used
It
to
worked.
do that a lot. Yeah.
I was like,
How long was awesome.
that was common practice, like that. You just expected that out of Bob Long
yeah,
back in
and
the
Kevin
day.
Foote says he refuses to call them F1 because it's the worst name ever.
It is
You know
pretty
why?
bad.
He doesn't want to call him F1 because F1 has already been used
That's right.
by the Illustrator.
You know, I had no
F1
idea.
And actually,
I had no
Kevin
idea
says-
they did that.
Yeah, Kevin says enemy because it's sexier. Kevin Foote. I will link you to his YouTube stuff later. He's a pretty sick rapper, although not as cool as
He's got skills to pay the bills.
Ginger Hellfire, which is
Yeah.
my new rap alias.
Yeah.
But he's
Wait,
he's
you
part
guess?
of the OG crew.
You guess that's your new rap name, or
Yeah.
that is your rap name?
Oh no, I go week to week.
Change it up. That's what's important.
Change it up.
y'all.
Just like my rhymes. And he said, gotta represent 05 Avalanche. He's a big Avalanche fan.
Your rap name should be Carrot Ginger Juicer.
Should be
Carrot
Sean
Ginger
White
Juicer.
clone.
Because carrots are orange. You're ginger.
Some carrots
Yeah,
are
you
different
also
colors than
juice.
orange. They're not all orange. Some of them are white, right?
Do you
What?
juice?
Carrots?
Yeah, they have white,
I
Purple.
some weird
Yeah.
carrots.
was raised the Jews.
You love the Jews and you
Jews.
raise the Jews.
You juice.
So,
Yes.
You know
I
how
forgot
I-
the Nexus.
you know how I reload
Thank you,
this?
Kevin. Nexus Ego.
I pull my feed neck out, I put this in one loader, I get another feed neck, I put it in another loader, and I slam it back in. You're good to go. a stock modification that you can have on your F1 Illustrator. See, I got my wire detent right here too.
And it works properly, unlike
See,
my
look at that.
pump gun.
See that?
I see.
So
But
speaking of
is
private
bad.
label
Treasure.
guns, they released some private label CS2s
Nelson
this
Talbot?
week.
No.
No, this is like.
Really?
And Sean
imagine like a
Winnery
spider.
was
You know,
saying he
it's
likes
a
the
stack keep
CS1s
blowback.
and CS2s
These are
because there's
prior
almost
to
no
spiders.
barrel rise.
This is 19.
Which
premiered
is
at
true.
the
I tried a
Masters in
CS
1990,
and it had
and
very
then
little barrel
released in
rise, but
1991.
it wasn't much difference than the LV1.1.
So say that again.
The CS2, Sean likes them because of how little barrel rise they have, how little kick.
What is barrel rise?
When you're ripping and it kind of rears up.
I guess I don't rip.
Yeah. You never really have that problem with the pump gun.
Yeah.
Usually you get dropped down and you kind of want to aim up, you know?
Are there private label
Yeah,
CS2s?
so they had an Impact CS2.
Are they milled or
No,
are-
just anode,
This is cool.
and not anode all that well.
David,
but the Impact one is the nicest. It has a
David.
what's their pattern they
just
normally use?
spacing out right.
Forgetting the name.
Checkerboard.
Pretty cool shit.
Yeah,
man.
what's the
gave me
checkerboard
this
pattern
one.
called?
He was Direct Connect.
Oh, plaid.
Do you have
Plaid. There you go.
Do you have plans?
It's got
to
the
make a
plaid
coffee
anode, and I really
table?
like their old
Book.
plaid
Coffee.
colors
Oh,
better
book.
than their current ones.
Dude.
They have
That
an
would be-
infamous one which pretty much just has
Probably
a
should
skull.
uncock
It's
this on, because you
ugly.
have to turn it on to uncock it.
DMG has one which
Oh,
is
did
sick.
you?
It's
I
like
think I took the batteries
blue and
Sorry. R.I.P.
black and gray
It's just a hammer
splash.
spring.
R.I.P. Your hands.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, whatever.
No,
These are very
actually,
clean.
I had it
I'm
off.
gonna pump it.
Was that tech-
Is this a
That was
carnivore
Aftershocks.
front?
Aftershock going with Planet Eclipse?
Yeah,
Is it just a strong
DMG.
box?
I
I think
really
it's
like
specific
DMG's
to,
pattern also. It almost
Jeff
reminds me of
Orr's.
an early
Oh.
Iron Man
For
DM.
You know,
Um,
400, 500.
That one's cool. X Factor has
So
one.
it does have
Wow.
some value.
Seems like every
I
one
mean,
of
it's
these
like a
teams is shooting
$700
Eclipse this season.
More gun, right?
X Factors is clean, but it's
I paid
like
4 or
it's
something
too
for it.
clean. I wouldn't pay
So
extra
you don't
for it.
pay full market value all the time.
I like X Factor.
NYX has one.
This is pretty
Again,
sick
kind of
legs.
plain. And the sandbaggers.
So look,
who are the sandbaggers?
On this one,
I have no clue.
I guess on this, your slot is just milled further forward than your hammer
It's so
slot.
funny.
So
So,
should he have milled
on the
more
Sandbaggers
aggressively?
CF2, I'm pretty sure
Probably.
it
If he had given
says
it a little bit more.
mental-
so that the pin on the bottom,
mental
or the hammer would
sandbaggers,
stop,
but
so
it looks
that
like it
makes
says
sense.
I wish I had
rental
given
sandbaggers. Not sure that's what they
Brian
wanted to get
Staunchy
across.
a shout out, not Adam Cable.
I mean,
Let's
he,
see.
He did a cool job.
We have a question
You
from
know?
Jorge Cervantes.
Oh,
What
what is it?
paintball gun smells the most?
Okay, this is
And
a valid question.
Smoking Turn says, smells the most?
The Tippmann, what's it called? The Tippmann propane gun smells the most.
There you go.
There you go.
I
Like,
didn't
that's
know
an
there was a
actual
propane
answer
gun.
to an actual
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
Thank you for the
What is
insightful question.
What is it called? I think that beer is
C3.
the C3. That one beer that I had just messed me up. I can't even think right now. But luckily I got you guys here and you can keep me straight. So
Not me.
why don't you turn your webcam on? People want to see the paint, Paul.
No way.
No way. You're a ghost right now. So this is a
Great ghost.
By the way, the enemy retailed at $1,000 compared to the Timmy's, which retailed for $1,200 for the stock 2K2, and I think $13 for the PLs.
And
Not
Bob Long back in the day still was direct to consumer, right? You couldn't really walk into a store back in the day and buy like a 2K5
No,
with
you
soy
could.
vision.
Oh, I think you
You
could. I
could.
think National Paintball Supply sold them.
Oh,
But
for
it-
sure.
that
But
would be
today you cannot, right?
Really?
Yeah, I believe so.
You might be right, actually. I haven't
Well,
seen
you
any.
are right because it's no longer Bob Long. So
No, I think even
I've never
Blind.
seen any Timmy's
I'm
on,
yeah,
on the wall at Source. I think you're right.
yeah.
However, I've noticed a lot of the stores don't even have high-end guns up at all. It's all, mid-range guns.
Yeah.
So,
I've never been at A&S, so I wouldn't.
Oh, I live right by A&S and I walk in all the time, and I think they did get like a small stock of the original Bob Long MVPs like before it was ever Field 1. But that was like a really small limited batch and they had cool anos. That was my first pump gun actually, like the 2015 MVP, because I had a G6R and I wanted to get into pump, so I got the MVP, and I don't think most stores carry like the new MVPs that Bob Long can.
when
you know.
did the MVP first come out?
I think around 2015.
No, it had
was
to be
earlier than
had
that.
to be earlier than that because Alex Vu was still
Oh
playing.
no! You're
something?
totally right because I got it used, so it was likely 2014, early 2014, late 2013.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
would say
You're
probably, 2012, 2013, because when I first moved down to Los Angeles, we would go down to Pendleton and we'd play there. And that was 2012, and Alex would play with us, Alex Vu, and he had an MVP, and
But
was
it was
MVP
always direct to consumer, so
MVP
it
was in
didn't get out in the
2011.
wild very quickly.
2011?
Yeah, here's an
Really?
article on ProPaintball.com describing it in November 2011.
Yeah, it was
wanna take my
hyped for a
spot?
while, but the G6R came out in 2011, and when I bought my G6R, I don't believe the MVP was available for purchase.
Got it.
Yeah.
Mikey
Yeah,
was using.
We have a
one of
question
these
from
pumps
Senior Leo. Why
last
did the
weekend, right?
0506
Yeah,
Egos
it's a
not?
beautiful one.
His was sick.
Version.
Like copper.
He
color.
has a version 2. It's almost like that carnivore. It's like a green one.
Yeah.
Oh, that
no,
one.
his is brown, isn't it? It's like a gloss brown.
It's a variation of that one.
Oh.
More olive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because their anode kind of changed batch to batch.
Gotcha.
But there's 3 versions of this. So this is version 1.
Yeah.
So before we talk about that one, we had a question from Senior Leo. Why did the 0506 Egos not hold their value like the same year Eclipse Cockers? And I think it's a very easy question to answer because thousands and thousands and thousands of people were shooting Egos and not many of them were shooting the Cockers. So they were both crazy expensive, and at the time Cockers were not all too popular. They were going downhill big time. You could pick up carnivores, any kind of cocker on the cheap. So who's going to spend $1,700 on a new cocker just because it's got a different look when you can get the Ego, which is lighter, faster, more reliable, consistent. Remember back then it wasn't the rage of let's get back into cockers. It was cockers have been the thing forever. We're done with cockers.
So your answer is that it's because
Rarity.
it's because there were less autocockers. But wouldn't you say that it's also because it's the fact that it's an electronic gun and the way that they sell more guns every year, every quarter is they're trying to sell it as more efficient and faster and faster and faster, whereas mech they kind of
no,
went a
because
different route.
he's asking about the Electro Eclipse cockers of that time.
Oh, Electro,
Versus the
E-Blade.
what's the
I
high
thought it was
end
mech.
What's like the top of the line like Eclipse autococker that they made? What is it?
The non-electric?
The Ultra
or the
Light?
electric?
The electric.
The Nexus, the
Died, my bad,
DC2.
died.
Nexus and the DC2.
Yeah, DC2. Yeah.
And DC2s are crazy expensive.
Yeah, they
They're
are.
like
Those are
1,500,
serious
right?
collector's items. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I
So,
wonder
yeah,
what the
just-
production for, each of those, like from the FT Eclipse Cocker up to like the DC2, like I wonder what the production numbers were for
Like
each
how
of those.
many?
Oh,
that
I
would be
got
cool
you.
to know.
But
Kevin,
generally,
Kevin Foote, if you know that,
parts
let us
on
know.
that is really hard, like the QEVs and stuff. They're really hard to.
Like they're non-repairable.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have those little square box ones.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is really cool. Looking at this, this Jeff Orr. This is just a Jeff Orr cocker, or what's the specific name of this one?
Yeah. So I think this is towards the end of WGP's run, and this was a factory mid block that they did, and they sold them just like this. It's got a E2 kit on it, and it's a factory mid block. And when I got it, I had the intention of turning it into a pump, but when I took it out to one of the ANS big games at Ambush Paintball Park in Moore Park, it was just shooting so nicely, and it gave me an appreciation for the configuration. So I'm gonna keep it as it is until I really want to pump it.
So is this the E2 or is this the Warblade?
Let me see.
I don't know details.
Warblade.
Well,
Really?
it's a Warblade frame, but can the Warblade take?
Does it have an LCD?
How would you? Okay.
I believe when I turned it on, it did say E2.
Okay, so maybe it's the E2 in the Warblade frame.
So
This thing rips.
It's definitely
man.
a
Yeah,
Warblade
it's pretty
grip,
sick.
but different trigger.
So
if it says E2, then it's E2.
Here's a question for the expert.
Warblade. If you saw a screen at all, then it's definitely not a Warblade.
Oh, the Warblades don't have screens. Okay,
Yeah,
so
Warblade is
here's a
just the
question:
LED.
Salar with his Jeff
This thing is
Orr
nice.
E2,
It's very nice.
or me with my SR.
The
Who's
SR
gonna
is
win?
a steaming pile of.
Whoa, whoa,
dookie.
whoa!
I almost got an SR just to pump it, but it seemed
Yeah?
like a lot of work.
Yeah, people go to extreme lengths to get those pumped.
For sure.
Yeah, but I have one, and I was thinking about that, but mine's like new in the box, or it looks new, right?
I understand
remember
why
when
they
these
did
things,
it. You know,
when they couldn't even sell like all 50 of these. Like I remember seeing them, I don't know, $400 or
Yeah, I mean they were super
so
cheap.
cheap.
the guy that I got it from, actually, he lived in San Diego, and after I got it from him on eBay, I think I paid probably around $500 total for this gun. He mentioned to me that back in the day, I think like 2007, he had bought like at least 15 of these directly from JT.
Out of the 50? Wow.
Yeah, so I believe 49 of 50 of the version 1s, which is this, were all dust black. So he got a bunch of these probably on closeout, and came with the original box and everything. He had never played with it.
That's
yeah,
pretty sick.
that was pretty cool. And that was right about the same time that they were selling the just 05 Black Magics.
Exactly.
5 minutes? Oh, until 8:30?
It started at 8:30.
Until you got a roll?
Oh, okay. So
Well, we can
if anybody's
keep going.
well, we gotta have Paul's help. Paul's the man.
He's
behind
the brains.
mask right now.
He can just let it just leave it running.
He needs me to go get his battery
Oh,
charger, and he needs the camera too. So he's like, we're RIP without him.
That's okay.
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes. So let's see. What do we got for questions, Benji?
Yeah,
what are
what do
people
we
saying?
know?
What's the smack talk status right now?
How do we get new people in paintball is the thing.
How do we get new people in paintball?
Dude, you know what's crazy?
Come over here and talk. I'll trade spots with you.
When
Come
I
on.
used to work for GI Sports,
Uh-huh.
we used to have a group of like 20, 30 people sitting in a room, just thinking about that question.
What have you seen? What
How do you get people?
So I think the most interesting thing that I see, like, because I play a lot of walk-on play at Ambush, I see a lot of young kids that I don't normally see, and I feel like they're the ones watching people like Jake Paul on YouTube, and I feel like Jake Paul would never have even promoted paintball had it not been someone like Bear. I don't want to butcher his last name. Okay, so that guy, he, you know, I've never met him. I don't know much about him,
But you respect that he brought it to the masses like that?
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Yeah.
A lot of people watch football.
Is this a magnetic D10?
Yeah, and actually he did it the right way. It wasn't
dude.
just like,
Cap?
hey, let's bring
also
Jake Paul to
dirty.
play a day.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, let's see
That's
if these guys want to play a tournament series.
That's
And
what, you know.
that was pretty cool. He has these guys with huge,
Gotta have
huge
some
followings
shit on
of kids, and they're playing every week,
pumpkin
getting ready for a tournament. It
Does
was,
it have the
it was pretty
respect
badass.
that?
Yeah,
doesn't have- you need the one
I
with
think
the
another
cards
way
on
to
the
get new players in is to have them play
Cards on
events
the
like
Some of the is this a Jeff
PBSL,
body?
which is very
Yeah.
new user
Some of the Jeff
friendly.
bodies have
Any of
cards
the
on
pump
them.
events, any of the scenario games.
I have one. I'll take a picture of
Um,
it. Probably Northern
I don't
California.
think it's necessarily have them do tournaments
that
because I think
blind
that burns
cardboard?
kids out more than anything. But Kevin was saying that the
did you get it from
DC1s came with E1 frames and
You know who that
boards,
is?
but had the same bodies as the
teacher in Chicago.
DC2s.
He's the only guy that posted a CCU slider disassembly.
What? Kevin says that Warblades did have screens
check it
and E1 boards,
I don't know who he is though.
just with WGV grips and Noid
His
covers.
screen
It was a
name on the
different
forums
kind
is
of-
no clue.
You can't even call that the same kind of LCD. It had like
He
a
has
single
really sick,
number.
like,
You didn't have all of the
camera
adjustment,
too.
and then
Old
to adjust
Oh,
the
I've seen that one,
modes.
I think.
Okay, to go from like
Camera.
semi to
That's
3-round
nice, the
burst
Cerakote
and
type
6-round
of
burst
thing. I
in a
don't know what it
Warframe,
is.
you had to
Don't
take the
quote
grips
me.
off, and you had to pull
It's got the
off
slider.
a
Matching slider.
jumper on the board. Like, not cool. I don't
So,
even.
What is that?
On the Warblade,
Well, I don't know why people
to
did
adjust the rate of fire, you would open the grips and you would take off a jumper that was shorting.
That's too much work.
And he said it did have an LCD, and I think I do remember it had like, so not the same kind of LCD as you have, but like a single little square that, I don't know, had a number. It's been a while since I've used one, but I just remember them being very bad boards.
Yeah. If you have to take the grape frame apart and like move stuff
To
around,
adjust stuff?
yeah, that's too much work.
Yeah.
You know, in like in that period, I was buying smart part stuff.
What kind of smart
What were
parts
you
guns were you
shooting?
using?
Well, first I had an Ion
Yeah.
because you know that's what everybody.
Was that your starting gun?
No, my first gun was like a Diablo Mongoose, and then I got an Ion.
Cool.
T-minus 1 minute.
I actually think the Ion was the thing that hurt paintball the most. Out of any gun, out of anything
Not
that
the
happened
shocker?
in paintball.
Not the shocker?
No, because
Why the Ion?
the shocker was $1,000, right?
No, $500, $600.
Okay, so
When it first came out, the shocker was not.
There's a couple things to think
05
about.
SFT.
Really?
$600.
Was it? I don't remember.
I don't
never
believe so.
bought
I
a
don't
shot
know.
full price.
So there's a
Oh,
couple
yeah.
things to think about. The Ion is similar to the Spider in that they both were a very affordable gun that brought like semi-automatics to everyone, because at that point in 1994, some people were still playing pump.
Yes.
You know, but you could get that Spider
It was
for so
$700.
cheap.
Yeah,
And the Ion, you know, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's also what, like 10 years later almost, or you know, 8
Yeah.
years later.
I just remember the Ion was the thing that enabled any kid who couldn't afford a high-end electro. These kids could now shoot 30 balls a second.
So, but imagine.
I wouldn't say 30 balls
Imagine-
a second.
Dude,
I had
never
it.
shot so fast.
I had an Ion, and I would say
Dude.
that those things were not built to last because it had this power button that just.
Okay, but here's the thing to think about. How fast can you shoot with your Spider Compact or your Spider
5
Classic?
balls a second.
So-
not even.
Yeah,
Okay,
not
but
even
if you have a stock autococker, how fast can you shoot with that in 1994?
20 balls a
In
second.
1994,
6.
yeah, not
To
that
8.
much faster.
Right.
Not that much faster than a stock Spider.
But the Ion is a huge difference to just like a regular.
The
Spider,
Ion,
is what
any
you're saying.
kid
Yes,
could
it's-
shoot 13, and
That's
Yes,
you could get it
but
to
you
20.
can compete with the most expensive paintball guns. That's the same exact thing that could happen with the Spider.
It was much cheaper. Than a
No, but that's the
autococker.
thing. These kids weren't buying the Ion to compete with the high ends because they weren't playing tournaments. They were going to the local field.
But
Yeah,
they
yeah,
were
yes,
lighting up rentals.
in that
Yeah,
you're right.
exactly.
In that you're right, but in the fact that you want to get like the fastest gun you can for the cheapest price, it's the same thing that happened with the Spider and the Ion.
I think the Ion
Okay,
probably
I got
made
you.
the.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Grew the market.
So not only
Because in the beginning you were using pump guns, then you could pay the money and get an autococker, and then you could pay less and get a Spider. So people
Yeah.
were using Spiders to compete. I get it.
I
mean,
never played with a Spider.
the F1L is, well, you said you had a Mongoose, right?
Oh, I guess that is a
which
similar.
you know, it's similar
true.
similar to a Spider.
That's
but so yes, they did. The Ion did various things. It made like a really cheap competitive gun available to everyone, and it made a really cheap. I mean, it was just a cheap competitive gun, and it was a gun that anyone could buy. So
it
you know,
kept
there's-
me in paintball for 3 years
Yeah,
solid until
yeah.
I could afford a shocker.
until you could afford something better.
Yeah.
So you know, it had its positives and its negatives, but at this point, you know, we're so far past that
I still
I don't
see
know.
Ions popping up at.
because
yeah.
there's so many.
So
Yeah.
last words.
Last words. Anybody have any final questions? We are ending the stream in 1 minute.
1 minute. Get those comments in,
59.
people.
Did you bring any other guns you didn't show off? You can flash it by the screen real quick.
Give it a quick flash.
That cool carnivore right in front of you, your mid-block carnivore.
So that one is. Well, let's just.
show.
We were just holding it. Let's just see if we got any comments. Any final
waiting for
comments?
it. Renick says 05 SFT was 600 with no vision eye. So yeah, if you like chopping, go ahead.
You dancing? No, I need to help
Even so, I
clean up
think
and
the 2300
You a bunch.
versus 600, that gap was a significant gap to a kid. Like 2300 is potentially something you're getting on Christmas. 600, it's
What's our time?
most kids
Paul?
aren't.
840.
What's this here for? Why don't we set up push? What is push?
Push is only
last
one of the
comment.
best paintball movies ever.
Is it on YouTube?
It is
I'm
on
not
YouTube.
sure.
I believe
Is
you can
it?
watch the whole thing on YouTube.
Okay, yeah, I
It'll be
wanted
fun.
to talk about that, but I think next week I'm going to bring my entire video collection and we can talk about that
Cool.
as well as